internacional, ¿no? Y coincide aquí también en New York.
Demonstrators taking to the streets of New York City yesterday demanding to free Venezuelan dictator Nicolas Maduro and his wife, Cilia Flores. The protest comes exactly 4 weeks after Maduro's capture in Venezuela by U.S. troops. Our next guest wants to set the record straight for young Americans who support socialism after her family experienced the repercussions in Venezuela firsthand. Karine Hajar is a Washington Post editorial board member, and she joins me now. Karine, it's so great to have you on. So it's hard to believe that there's people who are actually outside taking time out of their day in this cold temperature to support Maduro, who executed all of his political opponents and is torturing thousands more in his gulags. But you went down there. Tell me what you see when you go down to these protests.
Well, you see two sides. You see one side, a lot of young Americans who like the idea of socialism, who have the hubris to think that they can get it right this time after it's failed so many times.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, you have Venezuelans who have actually experienced socialism and know the reality of it as opposed to the ideology or the idea. And they're just ecstatic that Maduro is behind bars. He's jailed and killed and tortured so many people, driven 8 million people out of the country with his policies. So they're just happy to see a brutal dictator behind bars. The other side thinks that they're doing... I had people actually tell me that some of these Venezuelans don't know what's best for them, that this could be a good idea if it worked, right?
Yeah, right. This is what they always say. Okay, so you wrote a fantastic article in your paper, and it says that young Americans should know the truth about Venezuela's decline. Here's what it says. It says, young American socialists believe that the Venezuela of my childhood could have succeeded, a place where unlimited wealth could indefinitely back a generous welfare system. This latest crop of revolutionaries believes that they can get it right this time. If that's true, then why are so many making this excuse or making excuses for them? So what they're saying essentially is, hey, socialism failed here. It's mostly because the Americans were meddling and doing sanctions. The economy is not in free fall because of this centralized crony system that was in place with Maduro and Chavez before him.
Right. Isn't it funny when every time it doesn't work, they point to an excuse? It's often, well, that is an exceptionally bad dictator. That there was an exceptional level of corruption. And in Venezuela's case, you hear all of these excuses as well as U.S. sanctions tanked the economy. It wasn't actually the socialist policies. Now, they just have their timelines wrong. U.S. sanctions that had broad macroeconomic effects didn't really start till 2017 and after. Venezuela's economy was really in free fall far before then, experiencing hyperinflation. There was a time where people were actually losing weight because there was so much starvation in the country. And that came after a period of declining oil production, all of this. Like when I visited extended family as a kid, I didn't even realize that I was sitting on top of one of the world's largest oil reserves. And so if socialism can't work extracting from that much wealth, then it really can't work anywhere.
Yeah, it was working when there was American investment.
Right.
And then when the American investors and oil companies were kicked out by the socialists, Chavez sort of ran on the fumes of that, and then basically tanked the whole oil industry because he put in his friends so they could steal money instead of the experts who could actually produce the oil that the country needed. You know, it's interesting too. If you know about Venezuela, you know, you talked about how they were starving. They take, if you had the state will give you groceries, but it's delivered to you by a neighborhood minder who will say, hey, I noticed that you weren't at that Maduro rally the other day.
Right.
I'm not sure about this, giving you this little bundle of food that you need. I mean, this is what these kids don't realize, that it is centralized, controlled, because that's how the regime can stay in power.
Yeah, and people's lives have genuinely been destroyed by this. And it was so upsetting to see on one side Venezuelans actually celebrating, but also there was a lot of sorrow that we want to go back to our country. We miss our country. I met a couple of girls whose fathers were dying and older, and they just want to go back and see these people, see family. So I think that young socialists need to temper their pride a bit and actually listen to the people who are suffering.
The people who were there. By the way, I've spoken to Venezuelans, Karine, who are very close to people inside of the country. They are begging for American investment to come back. They don't want these Venezuelan socialists and communists running the oil business, because things were pretty good when the Americans were investing in Venezuelan oil and gas. It's so great to have you on, such a great perspective. I'm so glad you're going down and watching and observing and reporting for the Washington Post for yourself on what's going on there.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
All right.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.